What's up? Let's talk some hoops. The second round of the NBA playoffs is just about to get underway. So what are the strengths and weaknesses of the contenders? Who's the favorite? Who has some injury concerns? Let's talk all about it by ranking the remaining teams from least and most likely to win the Larry O.B. But first, do subscribe to the Sportsnet YouTube channel. Do me a favor, s'il vous plaît. Much appreciated. All right, starting from the bottom, the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. In their series, the home team has won every single game. When Donovan Mitchell has 20 plus points, the Cavs are 3-0. When Orlando shoots 35% or better from three, they are 2-0. Whoever wins this series could go 0-4 in the next round versus the Boston Celtics. But yeah, I'm giving the upper hand to the Orlando Magic for one reason. I don't like how the Cleveland Cavaliers finished their season. They tanked the final game of their season to avoid the 76ers in the 2-7 matchup. They fell down to fourth. This is what they wanted. The basketball gods will smite you. Magic in 7. Next up, the Indiana Pacers, who beat the Giannis-less Bucks along with a hobbled Damian Lillard in 6 games. First off, congrats to them. They won their first playoff series since 2014. That's great, but on the basketball side of things, I don't trust their defense. Right? Pascal Siakam has come in and he's clogged a lot of the holes in their defense, but overall, they bring the steak and potatoes, but where's the spice? The extra sizzle of late switching, a mix of coverages and pick and roll defense, or a touch of hard-nosed man-on-man defense. Ultimately, we all know this is an offense-first team. Tyrese Haliburton is their engine, and currently, he is not healthy. He has not been for months. You would think Pascal Siakam would get a higher usage considering that, but nope. Hasn't happened. Love you, P. Haliburton is shooting 29% from three in the playoffs, which is similar to how we finished the season. Look, he's a terrific player. I love his playmaking, but this engine currently needs a little tune-up, and it's going to cost him in the second round. And they will face the New York Knicks coming off that 76ers series. Jalen Brunson is obviously the head of this snake, but I just love this team overall, man. They have chemistry on both ends. They complement each other. They work for each other, help the helper, making good cuts. They do all that fun stuff. Josh Hart played all but 13 minutes in that 76ers series. Hear me. He played all but 13 minutes. Unbelievable. And OG Anunoby is a different person in New York. I am not kidding. He is mean mugging. He's celebrating. It's going to be really weird watching Pascal and OG guard each other. But at the end of the day, the Knicks, they're a better team. Jalen Brunson is about to have a field day with that Pacers defense. I think they're going to win this handedly. Love you, OG. And we finally arrive in the Western Conference. Mavericks Clippers. The Mavericks hold a 3-2 series lead. They're going to have game 6 at home. And look, I'm ranking them in the same category, but the Mavs are going to win this series. Kawhi isn't playing. Dallas stopped James Harden in game 5 by forcing him to his offhand and switching pick and rolls, which their bigs held up in. And Paul George probably has to score like 30 plus in both of these games for them to win. And he's also dealing with some great wing defenders in PJ Washington and Derrick Jones. Look, the Mavs are absolutely no joke, okay? Seriously, they got isolation kings, they got big-time shot makers in Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, and then they got rim protection, they got depth, they got wing defenders, they can switch a little bit with their lineups, they can add Maxi Kleber as a small ball 5. They got it all. This has the makings of a championship-level roster. Will they make it, though? We'll see. Right here, I got the OKC Thunder. We got to respect these guys, man. They finished with the number 1 seed for a reason. They have conquered every challenge so far in their season. And sure, they struggled a little bit with their three-point shooting in game 1 versus the Pelicans. But after that, it was full speed ahead, and they cooked them in 4 games. Everyone questioned how Chet would handle a big like JV. Well, you know what? He canceled out his production. For every Valanciunas dunk under the basket, Chet countered with shot blocks, threes, transition buckets, and more. Love you, JV. The torture chamber is real. Just ask Brandon Ingram. And then they got Jalen Williams, who will become a superstar at some point in his career. And then they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, this guy right here, our Canadian. He is a superstar. He's going to have to be huge in this series, maybe the best player in this one. Mavericks, OKC, it's going to be tight. I think OKC can pull this off because I like their discipline, their energy game by game. They've been consistent throughout the year. I'm giving them the edge, but I don't feel good about it. It's going to be close. The Boston Celtics, they worked all year to be prepared for this very moment, the playoffs, the postseason, where they're hoping to win an NBA title. And in the first round, they mostly looked the part. And to be fair, I think most of us probably felt like Heat, voodoo, witchery would get them at least one game. And it showed up in the sense of an absurd 54% from 3 on 43 attempts in Game 2. After that, Boston outscored Miami in the final 3 games by 68 points. On the injury report side of things, Kristaps Porzingis is reportedly potentially out for this entire series. They won't need him to beat the Cavs or the Magic, but something they should consider is that Miami did an interesting thing where they forced Jaylen Brown to be a playmaker, to be a scorer, and they kind of took away Jason Tatum completely from the offense. How Brown scores and playmakes out of those schemes could be a storyline in the conference finals and finals. If you've made it to the end of this video, you probably knew we'd end up right here. It's Minnesota and Denver. In 4 games, Minnesota thumped, pummeled, and hammered the Suns. Anthony Edwards, obviously a human highlight reel, but also showed off his ability to make reads out of double teams. And of course, he dunked on anyone in sight underneath the basket. Rudy Gobert was a plus 29. Karl Anthony Towns was a very efficient scorer. I'm not kidding when I say this. They might have the best top 7 pound for pound in the NBA with Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker coming off their bench. They're a very good team. But what they don't have is this man right here. All right, Nikola Jokic, he is the basketball calculator. He is a problem solver extraordinaire. He is the best player in the NBA. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And Denver is still a force to be reckoned with. But they have questions. How healthy is Jamal Murray and KCP? Will Peyton Watson and Christian Brown and Reggie Jackson deliver off the bench in non-Jokic minutes? Can Aaron Gordon keep the Wolves honest from 3? We still haven't seen the best version of the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray has put on his playoff Murray hat a couple of times for a few game winners, but at the end of the day, we have not seen that consistent shot making game by game, and they're going to need that to win this series. They're still the favorites, don't get me wrong, but this series, it's going to be tight. All right, that's it from me. My name's Amit, Mann. Enjoy the second round of the NBA playoffs. We will talk later.